Hello everypony, Corpulent Brony here. I believe it's finally time I go through that Q&A video from the 1,000 subs special that we had and answer some of your questions. You all had some awesome questions. I'm also going to go ahead and do the drawing right here in the video so you can all see the methodology that I used. So I'm going to save that for the end of this video. For now, sit back, relax, enjoy the nice, beautiful background video I have here and just let's get digging into these questions. How's that sound, okay? Okay, the first question was from Friendshipismagic. They are one of my best subscribers, and they've been really subscribed to me for a really long time. I really appreciate them. They ask, are you religious? Okay, well, I am not really religious. My family is Catholic. I have a lot of Catholic background. Myself, though, I've never even been baptized into a religion, so I consider myself more of an agnostic. I really don't have a strong opinion on religion for myself, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me that other people do, and I'm totally comfortable in religious settings. Okay, also, if you wake up tomorrow and were given unlimited power to do literally anything you wanted, what would you do? Oh gosh, anything I wanted. I assume along with that I have no consequences for my actions. In that case, man, I'd do everything, man. I'd go out and rob a bank or just go on a cross-country tour of the country in my car, or, maybe use the money from my bank robbery to bankroll the tour. I love to travel around, so I think that'd be fun. The Chocolate Arbiter, another awesome subscriber who's been with us for a long time, asks, milk chocolate, white chocolate, or dark chocolate? Milk chocolate, white chocolate, or dark chocolate? Well, Chocolate Arbiter. I don't really like white chocolate, okay? The choice between milk or dark really depends on the feeling I'm in at the time. I really like dark chocolate. As I've gotten older, I've come to really appreciate it, so I'm more likely to choose that nowadays, but milk chocolate's good too. Anna Madsen asks, do you like shipping? I know you have a GF, so don't worry. I only sail if I may. Yeah, I don't mind shipping. I mean, I know from my experience with you and from some of my friends, you like to ship yourself with everyone. So, I mean, that's fine. Feel free to do that. Obviously, I'm officially shipped with the Mayor Friend, and that is the only ship that's, I guess, canon, so to speak. But I don't care. If people want to do stuff with my OC, that's fine. God knows they've already done a lot. Logan Thene, who's another more recent person, but I know them personally, asks, did you enjoy watching Rainbow Rocks, and was it worth getting 2 copies? I didn't really enjoy Rainbow Rocks that much. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact I knew I'd need to know it in order to speak about it in videos and podcasts and other things I've been doing, I probably never would have actually gone out and watched it on my own. And no, it was not worth getting 2 copies of it. Again, the only reason why I got a copy in the first place was because I know I'd probably use some of the footage and videos I was making, and it would be good to have a high-definition copy of it. Plus, honestly, I did download a copy of the movie before it was out, and, I felt like it was sort of the moral thing to do to actually buy a physical copy, so I'm not really stealing, per se. I mean, I guess technically it's still not real. Anyway. Nelson Demifur, another, again, so many of these people are just awesome people, and Nelson's one of the greatest, asks, if DHX/Hasbro offered you a chance to voice your own point on the show, 3 spottings minimum, 5 max for the entire episode, would you? Obviously, if Hasbro or DHX came up to me and asked me to do such a thing, I think almost anyone in the fandom probably would say yes. I like the show, and I'd love to give some sort of an official opinion on it, although I don't see why they'd ever ask such a thing, but I guess it's fun to entertain such a question. He then asks, would you want Sombra to return? Actually, no. I'm not a big fan of Sombra. I thought he was a very flat character. Could he come back and be a more multi-dimensional, a more multi-dimensional character? Could he be more interesting? Very possible he could be. I don't really see that happening. I am aware slightly of this Friendshipismagic comic book that's out, but centering around his character, but man, what I've seen about it does not look good. I don't really pay that much attention to the comics. I've read the first few, but no. Nelson then asks, what was the hardest thing you ever did? Oh man, I'm gonna say the hardest thing I ever did was probably when I turned 18. I left my home after I graduated high school, and I moved 3,000 miles away to a completely different state, obviously, the other side of the country, where I knew practically nobody. And somehow within a month of moving, I had established myself, I had a job, I had a place to live. But those 2 to 3 years after I first moved out were some of the hardest times in my life personally. I learned a lot in that time. A lot of it positive, but more than not negative. I was in some pretty bad situations as far as being close to living on the street because of not having enough money for rent and stuff like that. So I've had some really bad times in those times. And even after that, I was laid off a few years ago here in my current state of Florida. I was laid off once, and that was a pretty tough time when I was very worried about my future. Luckily, I was able to get another job pretty quickly, which in the economy at the time and even now is pretty good. Nelson asks next, which Lantern Corp do you think you would be in? I don't really know what you're asking here. Which Lantern Corp? I have a feeling you might be referencing something I've never seen, so I don't feel like I can really answer the question, unfortunately. Sorry, man, if you want to re-ask it in the comments below, I'll be sure to answer it for you, though. He then asks, do you have a favorite Disney movie? Jeez, I don't know. I'm really partial to the old movies. My favorite would probably be the Alice in Wonderland, the old one from I think the 60s or 70s. That one we used to have in my house on VHS. We never bought it, actually. Someone brought it over to let us borrow it, but they never came back for it. So we had this thing for like 15 years, and I watched it a lot growing up. It was one of our favorite things to watch, and I love the wordplay and other stuff that Disney really, I think, captured a lot of the essence of Lewis Carroll's work in that movie. So that would probably be my favorite, but there's been a lot of good ones. Next, Miska Wolflover asks, if you had to pick between being famous or having your biggest dream come true, which would you pick? Okay, I'd probably rather have my biggest dream come true. I believe a lot of the famous people when they say being famous isn't really all it's cracked up to be. I am nowhere near being even horse famous, let alone real famous. But in the little bit of just the slightest of taste I've had, it does seem like it's not really all it's cracked up to be. And I can just imagine having, 10 times more subscribers than I have now, or 100 times more, even being on TV. Oh gosh. I just think having my biggest dream come true, though, would be a much, much better situation to be in, because my biggest dream coming true probably would not involve fame. Miska next asks, would you rather never review anything or lose your hearing? I love hearing things. I love my senses. Losing my hearing is not something I'd want to give up, so I'm going to have to go with I'd rather never review anything again. They then ask, would you rather run a 50-mile race or get hit by a car? Actually, this is a really good question, because running a 50-mile race, especially someone in my physical condition, would probably be worse than getting hit by a car. I don't even know if I'd be able to finish a 50-mile race. I'm assuming if I get hit by a car, it's going to be survivable, with maybe a broken bone or two, and no major internal damage. If that's the case, it's pretty simple. I'll go ahead and get hit by a car. It's something I'll be able to recover from. I'm not sure I could recover from a 50-mile race. Miska then asks, would you rather be made fun of for something you enjoy, or be made fun of for something someone else did? Quite frankly, I'd rather be made fun of for something I enjoy doing. A recent video came up that I posted online that got a little bit of Tumblr fame. It got like 700 notes in a couple days thanks to Mando Pony, of me giving a tour. It was sort of a joke, but I went to Walmart and got a lot of bathroom products for my bathroom, pony-related bathroom products. They were just released. And I did a little tour of my bathroom with these products in it, mostly to show off the stuff, just sort of to show people this type of stuff that's out there. Some of it's kind of crazy, but I obviously got made fun of quite a lot there. So yeah, but it didn't really bother me that much. So if I was being made fun of for something someone else did, that would almost seem unfair. So yeah, I think I'd rather be made fun of for something I enjoy. Pony Tonight, and I know personally this is Sheldon, asks a couple questions. He says, how do you plan to take your analysis videos to the next level for Season 5? Quite honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, and I really should know. As I record this right now, I am 3 days, less than 3 days away from the season 5 premiere. I don't know. You know, for me, the next level is probably going to be, this might seem counterintuitive, but it will be putting less time on video editing, more time on getting cogent thoughts down on paper and recording a script quickly so that I can get the video out there quicker for the audience to enjoy. You know, Dr. Wolf, if you look at a lot of his videos, all they are is a static background with audio. Sometimes the background changes slightly. Sometimes it'll be a tiny slideshow. You look at Two Best Brothers Bitch About Ponies, some of their earlier videos, all it was static backgrounds or simple animation. That's it. It was really more of them discussing the episode. And I think there's a lot to be said for being able to make an argument about the episode or talk about an episode, not necessarily having to have awesome visuals. Obviously, if I had the time to do something awesome, I will. Maybe I'll do something with a video log and just do some simple editing. I don't know. If it doesn't work out, then going along with his next question, which is do I have plans to tackle every episode, or am I simply going to tackle the episodes I have more concrete opinions on? If it gets to the point where I feel like I'm not being of a service by releasing videos that don't have that visual elements that I've really been working on a lot in my growing my video editing skills. If I feel like I really need to do something more, I might start tackling just individual episodes, not necessarily every single one, and making a real video like you're used to seeing me make. Maybe I'll do just short little vlogs about stuff that maybe doesn't need so much time or that I think doesn't really deserve it. There were a couple episodes I reviewed last season, like Inspiration Manifestation. I didn't really feel a whole lot to talk about at the time, so I didn't. Inspiration Manifestation, half the video is me making predictions about the season finale, which was just a couple episodes away. So, you know, because the other half was just me being like, it's Rarity. Good for her. Yay. You know, kind of interesting the way Spike saved the day, but, you know, whatever. He's friend zoned. It's over. Anyway, if you want more info on that, you go ahead and watch the old video. Noteworthy asks, well, first he says, right on, dude, I love your videos. Here's hoping you get thousands more. Thank you. Did you become a brony during the early days of the show, or did you just get into it not very long ago? I think I've explained this a couple times in podcasts. I don't know if I've ever done anything about it on this channel. I became a it's a long story, but try to condense it a little. The mayor friend is the person who got me into My Little Pony due to the toys showing up at McDonald's stores in the second, I think it was the first wave of G4 toys showing up at McDonald's. She wanted to watch the show, see what it was all about. She talked me into doing it with her. We sat down and watched the show. I think it was somewhere around Hurricane Fluttershy, and this was during season 2. We sat down and watched the show, and I don't know. I think at the time I was a little split on it. It wasn't as bad as some of the other stuff she had asked me to watch, like the Strawberry Shortcake reboot. That thing was horrible. But it wasn't, I was really on the fence. She liked it okay. She wanted to give it another chance, so we recorded the next episode. It might have been the next aired episode. It might have been a different episode because I wasn't paying attention to the episode was new or a rerun. But the next one I think we saw was something like, or it might have been a CMC episode, I don't know. We saw the next episode, and I was a little more sort of liking it. I liked the design of the ponies a lot. I really liked the coloring and how everything was very colorful. You know, you come into it thinking just the rainbow one is going to be colorful, but guess what? There's a lot of really nice looking ponies as far as color schemes go. You know, the design job did a great job, even on all the background ponies. They just look awesome. You know, they're fun to look at. By about the 3rd or 4th episode, the mayor friend had decided she wasn't too hot on the show. Secretly, though, I knew I was in love with the show. At the time, I'd also discovered the whole brony thing, and I'd been a little, to borrow someone else's term, brony curious. And I was going around online and looking at videos. I was beginning to sort of poke around there, and I stumbled across at that time Digibro and some of the other people. Digibro was the only one I really watched constantly. I still, though, was a closet brony. I remained a closet brony for almost a year. I wasn't really willing to admit it to myself. I was really in denial. But I finally did admit it when I first started buying pony products, because even though the mayor friend wasn't so hot on the show, she loved the toys. So we would constantly go out to stores, and we still do, in the pink aisle looking for ponies and pony-related merchandise. I started buying it merch about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. And that's when I really admitted to myself, look, if I'm liking this thing enough to spend money on, I might as well admit it to myself and everyone else I'm a brony. So since then, I've been open about it, and shortly after that is when I started this channel about a year ago. So sorry if that was too long, but that's the story. So I guess you could say I'm a 2012 brony. I hope I pronounced your name right, but Sasamichan has some questions too. They ask, what pony who is not a well-known or fan-favorite pony do you most want to see expanded upon in an upcoming episode where said pony can have more to do? I don't know. I mean, maybe someone like... It seems like most of the ponies have been sort of adopted by the fandom, but there's this one, I think her name was like Star Sapphire or Sapphire Star or something. She was, I probably just butchered her name. She was the one pony in Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well who Rainbow Dash was trying to help her open up the jar of peanut butter. I thought she looked kind of interesting. She looked like she might have a story about it, so I guess it would be interesting to see her expanded upon. But again, like I said, it's hard to say if it's not a well-known or fan favorite. Sasamichan then asks, what would you do with 10 yards of pink duct tape, M32 Gophers, a man named Fred who plays accordion, 6 pounds of packing peanuts, and a small fez? This actually sounds like the setup to a joke, and it sounds vaguely reminiscent of Caddyshack. But I don't recall Caddyshack that well. I should watch it again. So I think it's a joke. I don't know. Sasamichan then asks, have you ever been face down in the mud and kicked in the head by an iron boot? Luckily, I can say I have not been in that situation. Sasamichan then asks, what do muffins talk about when no one is around? Well, I'd like to think that they talk about the Muffin Illuminati. Next, they ask, how did you escape that lion, and what did you do with the golden beaver? Unfortunately, I cannot reveal my secrets at this time. Sasamichan then asks, who is 37th best pony? Interesting question. I would say 37th best pony would probably be Mayor Mare. Sasamichan then asks, who is best princess? Not just of MLP, but of every fictional story ever. Well, my good man, what you fail to understand possibly is that obviously Twilight Sparkle is the best princess ever. That would be of MLP and every story ever told. So even in real life, so I'm gonna have to go with Twilight Sparkle. He then asks, what pony would you most want to have for dinner, and what topic would you discuss? I'm assuming he's talking about a guest, like a dinner guest. Again, I'm gonna have to go with Twilight Sparkle, and I think the topic of discussion would really be probably knowing her and knowing me would be our two worlds and the differences between them. She'd be a great vat of knowledge about life in Equestria and equestrian history. With all her book reading, she could give me all the book smarts associated with that topic, and I can discuss with her what life is like here. So I think it would be an interesting dinner. They then ask, if the main 6 all wrote Daring Do fanfics, what pony would have the best plot? I hate to sound like a broken record here, but Twilight Sparkle would have the best plot. Sasamichan then asks, what's it like living in Scotland? It's very wet. Sasamichan then asks, what is the name of that dog you saw the other week? Its name was Fido. He then asks, how is Elvis, and have you seen him lately? I hear he's doing pretty well. I haven't seen him because he's actually delivering pizzas out in California. Next question he asks is, how do I beat the boss of Dungeon 5 of Legend of Zelda for NES? I never played Legend of Zelda on NES. I played Legend of Zelda on the Super NES, and I seem to remember it being called like something silly like Super Legend of... No, that doesn't make any sense. But it was one of those on the SNES. Let's see, how many llamas can fit on a football field? Well, if I were to estimate, let's see, if you stack them that way, I'm assuming one layer of llamas, maybe 8 by, probably fit 1, so 4. I'm going to make a guesstimate of about 400 to 500. By looking through Rainbow Dash's mane, how many stars are out tonight? Well, that's a funny question because actually Rainbow Dash, I think, has a very nice, thick, full mane. So if I'm looking through her mane, I'm not going to see any stars. I'd like to give it a try. And he also asks, I answer, yes. Okay, he says there, how is that for original? Hope it made you smile. They were good questions. But one serious question, how can I make videos to thank bronies and pay them back for all they did if they never watch my channel? That's tough. The best you can do is just do what you like to do. Unfortunately, not everybody can get views on their videos, and all you can do is just make things that you want to make and that you enjoy making. Trying to do it for other people is just going to drive you crazy, and I find when you do that, what tends to happen is people don't like it. It's like they can feel you're not being genuine. What I would recommend is just to do what you like to do and hope that the views come. Now, that doesn't mean you just have to sit back and hope. You can obviously promote your videos, and there are a lot of venues to promote your videos. I post most of my videos to like 30 different social networks, and I've got a decent following on maybe a handful of those networks. Most of them, it's like 0 to none. I still post there because, you know, there's always the off chance someone can find the video there. And even though I've got like hardly any viewers on like my Wikia, my MLP Wikia account, or my where I do keep a blog, or my FinFiction account where I also keep a blog, or even Rainbow Dash Network, which is sort of like a Twitter for bronies. Even though I've got a very small following in all those places, I still post there, and believe it or not, I still get people who come to me sometimes and say, oh yeah, I saw you through a blog post you made up on MLP Wikia or FinFiction. And I'm like, what? Really? I didn't think anybody was reading that, you know, because it shows me like 0 comments. Also, Reddit is very popular, I guess, in the MLP community. There are places there, MLP Vids is one I can think of that sort of encourages people to post their videos that they're making so other people can find them. Those are some hints maybe that can help everyone. Alex Hornsby, who's another awesome guy. This guy has been subscribed to me for a very long time as well. And I happen to know he loves Fallout Equestria and I believe Project Horizons too. And by the way, Alex, you asked in my 100 subscriber special if I'd be willing to do a collab on Fallout Equestrian, and I'm still willing. You know, if you ever do get a microphone and everything, feel free to hit me up if we can get something scheduled. That'd be cool. Okay, so Alex says, congrats, Corp. Now let me think of a question. Got it. Have you read any fan fictions? And if so, which is your favorite? I feel like there's a fishing line being cast. I don't really read a lot of fan fictions. I have read Fallout Equestria in its entirety. And it was decent. It was not bad. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a whole lot of fan fictions I've read that I've really been impressed with, except Fallout Equestria, I guess. And really, for me, the biggest impact that fanfic had on me was its scope and its length. It did tie together at the end very nicely, I thought. And I liked how they melded both the story of the downfall of Equestria along with the story that takes place, you know, years later with Little Pip and that band of ponies. So that was a pretty cool story. Next, Comic Sans Pony. Another NLP analyst asks, what does your OC's cutie mark mean / represent? The cutie mark is sort of like a pencil with glasses and legs and eyes, you know? So it's like a sort of an anthropomorphic pencil sort of thing. And actually the design comes from a little bit of Donald in Magic Land, which is a little known Disney film that maybe some of you have seen. And also a similar design was used in the Alice in Wonderland movie I talked about a little while ago. That's sort of where the design came from. I gave it to the mayor friend and she sort of came up with a design. And then next I gave it to the person who designed my OC, a great guy by the name of Wewius, or Verius. He's German, I don't know how to pronounce it right. And he took it and made it to what it is today. What the cutie mark represents is the writing, so sort of like an I was trying to find something that would encompass analysis and writing and being able to get thoughts out of my head and get them in a form that can be shared and transmitted with others. In the pony universe, from everything we've seen in the show, the number one way of doing that is through writing. You know, it isn't shown that they have televisions or radios or anything like that, any technology that they can broadcast their voice or their image, or besides pictures, obviously. So it seems to me the number one way that they communicate is through writing, if not speaking face to face. I see the pencil as a way of sort of getting everything written down for mass distribution, so to speak. I don't know if that's enough of an explanation. He then asks, how did my OC get it? If I lack a backstory, then skip that question. Actually, there's a backstory about my OC, sort of. It mostly revolves around my OC and the mayor friend's OC. So it doesn't, in fact, touch on the whole cutie mark aspect of my OC, unfortunately. So that part is not filled in yet. So unfortunately, I guess I'll skip the question. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like there is no backstory, because there is. Came through discussions between me and the mayor friend, but I don't think we ever touched on the cutie mark. Comic Sansan asks, when did I realize Twilight was my waifu? Oh, I don't know. You know, I've always liked the nerdy girl archetype in cartoons. From an early age, there's an old cartoon called Inspector Gadget. I don't know, most of you may have been too young to have ever seen the original cartoon back in the 80s or 90s. Anyway, in this cartoon, there's a character named Penny, and I did have a bit of a child crush on Penny, and the things I liked about her, I seem to recall, is she was smart and she wore glasses. You know, to me, that's like, oh wow. you know. And in Twilight, I saw the same sorts of qualities, you know, obviously no glasses. I guess that's a knock on her part, but she does seem intelligent. I also liked how dorky she is, you know. She's a term I've heard used as adorkable, you know, and I think that fits really well with her character. And her color scheme, too. I mean, I can't skip past that, obviously. I really like the whole purple thing, and purple's always been one of my sort of more favorite colors. So all those things sort of combined to make her, I guess, what you might call my waifu. Also, Season 2, Twilight had a couple of awesome episodes with Lesson Zero and It's About Time. So, yeah. Like, those episodes kind of cemented that whole thing because they were just freaking awesome. The Burning Donut, one of the most awesome bronies out there, yo. This guy's like old school 80s type brony, man. He's serious, man. He asked a question. He says, what's your favorite anime? I do not watch any Japanimations. You may have seen on my channel recently, I reviewed a Japanimation called The Harry of Suzuki or some such. I didn't even watch that one all the way through. I couldn't make it all the way through. I tried, to be honest. I didn't think I made it more than a couple minutes. I kind of skipped through and tried to get the gist of it. Sorry. I know I'm a horrible reviewer, but it was for April Fools. Having said that, though, I have watched 2 animes straight through. Movie things. It's actually Hayao Miyazaki. I don't know. I can't pronounce those Japanese names. He made 2 animes, I think, with Disney. The Ponyo one, which was really weird. It was really trippy. I guess the other one was pretty trippy too. Damn. I thought I remembered the name. I forget the name. But anyway, it's the one with No Face. You know, the big one that Disney took and redubbed and everything. I watched, of course, the redub. Holy cow, I wouldn't watch any subs. I'm a normal fag like that. So yeah, I did watch that, and they were pretty good, I guess. They were okay. I don't know, just if I hadn't been bored enough, I probably wouldn't even watch them, though. Ogiville Theodore. This guy goes by some various names. We call him Theo. He's a memologist. I know him. He says, do you ever wish Twilight's horn was firmly planted in your ass? No, Theo, I've never wished such a thing, nor would I ever. That sounds extremely painful and, quite frankly, not pleasing at all. Okay, the Burning Donut came back and he asked another question. He said, who is your favorite Kill la Kill character? I don't know what Kill la Kill is. It sounds like, I don't know. Guess I don't have one. Snapple Jack asks, how do you thin your beard? Not sure what he means, but okay, so I use a number 3 attachment on a shaver, and I run it through my beard once in a while. That's about it. Snapple Jack then asks, what is in your room? Well, where the room you normally see, I own a condo, right? I do live here by myself. So it's a 2-bedroom condo. 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, dining room, couple bathrooms, foyer, garage. So I don't really know what you mean by my room. The room you often see in my videos is my office. In the office, I have a couple computers. I've got my rats, my 3 pet rats. I have my pet rabbit and my pet Euromastix lizard. It's where I do most of my recording. It's where I do almost everything. I've got put some pony stuff in here. I've got a bunch of vinyl Funko ponies sitting up on my computer desk that keep me company, and on my computer all over the place. I've got a few printers, some boxes, a bunch of crap. In my bedroom, which might be the other place you're asking, I've got the bookshelf, which you may have seen in some of my videos as well, with a lot of books, but there's also a lot of ponies that were put on it. Bed, you know, nightstand, dresser, all the nice stuff that people normally have. And then I've also got a bathroom. I've got a living room with more ponies. I've got a kitchen with your normal kitchen stuff, a dining room. I don't know if that answers your question without doing like a full tour of my house or something, which I don't know. It seems to be a thing that people do, like give and take and Digibro. So maybe someday, if I'm bored enough, you'll see that for me. Who knows? Next, we have Gunz Brony. Asks a few questions. He says, why is your OC not corpulent? Well, the first time I used Pony Creator to create my OC, I did make it corpulent. It looked a little off. Subsequently, when I decided to start making videos, I actually forgot to make it corpulent. I just forgot. I wasn't thinking about it, even though I knew I was going to be called Corpulent Brony, it didn't cross my mind. When I handed off my design to be created and vectorized by Webuse, when I directed him, I didn't really tell him, hey, make this pony fat. He just, I didn't think it was that important at the time. I really handed off the Pony Creator OC poses I had made with the thinner pony and he ran with that. I think he did a wonderful job. You know, they've held up now for quite a few months. But yeah, it's not Corpulent, so oops. I'm not sure if a Corpulent pony would really set me that much apart, though. Next, they ask, have you ever played Plopper games? I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, I might have, but it was mostly for research. You know, everyone's played a couple because you come across them. It's like, what the heck is this? And you play it just to see what's going on. And you know, yeah. So, yeah. Next question is favorite brony musician. Okay, so this is a tough one to answer. If you would have asked me a while ago, I might have said like Mando Pony, because he does seem like a pretty cool guy. He has made some awesome music, especially in his duos with Acoustic Brony. So the Acousto Mando Ponies, the Acousti Mando Pony stuff is really good shit. Or, sorry, stuff. Try not to do that again. It's really good stuff. But after getting to know Mando, or trying to get to know him and trying to have interactions with him, he's very distant from the fandom. And it seems to me that if you're a fandom musician who's relying on the fandom, you're part of the fandom, you're in the fandom, your only fans are also members of the fandom, it seems to me you really got to be more connected to that fandom, because you wouldn't be where you are without them. It's very foreign to me. Maybe if I ever get to his level of popularity, which I don't think will ever happen, hopefully, maybe I'd better understand the way he's so aloof, but I don't. I don't really understand it. You know, because I know people like, you know, he's pretty popular. So is Black Griffin. Black Griffin has a bit of the same disconnect, though, not to let him off the hook. He's pretty disconnected. He still does stuff with the fandom sometimes. He seems more approachable. He goes to more I hear from other people he's more approachable at conventions. I've never run into him at a convention. I wouldn't know firsthand. But then you'll have people like Jeff Burgess, I guess, is pretty popular, but he's an awesome guy. You know, when I've gotten to know him, he's just really cool. He's always treated me pretty well. He made a song for me as a commission, the Corpulent Brony theme, that quite honestly is one of my is my favorite Brony song, to be honest. But maybe it's because it's about me, and that's just my self-praise coming out. But Jeff Burgess seems like a pretty cool guy. Although I have heard behind my back him making some jokes about me. They don't sound too malicious, but you know, whatever. That doesn't bother me too much. So it's hard to say who my favorite Brony musician is. So I don't know, toss up between, you know, for technical skills, Mando Pony, followed closely by Black Griffin. But as far as just being cool, Jeff Burgess. Just take a step back though real quick. You know, the whole becoming popular and becoming disconnected to your fans, you don't have to look very far. Just look to like Jay Howler or even the mindless Gonzo. These are both people I know, especially Gonzo, I know pretty well. But I've also talked to Jay Howler a lot, you know, a few times. These are people who are willing to interact with their fans once in a while. They're not aloof like Black Griffin and Mando. As far as popularity, I mean, they're almost, as far as sub counts at least, they're near that same level as those two, as Mando and Black Griffin. I don't really know why some can be more connected and others less connected. I just don't know. But maybe that's another question. I should continue on. Next, Gunz Brony asks, favorite ship? Okay, easy. Flutter Dash. Okay, that is one of my favorite ships. They look very cute together. And I love the fact that they sort of grew up together, and Rainbow Dash defended Fluttershy, as we saw in, I think, Call of the Cutie, or I'm not sure about the name. You know the episode I'm talking about. He then asks, favorite part of the fandom? Music, animations? Man, I don't know. Being in the podcast I'm in, I've actually been able to get a brief glimpse into most parts of the fandom. You know, and each one has its drama that surrounds it. You know, the music fandom, even the YouTube. Apparently, there's a pony YouTube poop fandom. You know, the convention. There's a convention side of the fandom. There's a lot of people running these conventions. There's the vendors and the artists at the conventions are all in a sort of a sub fandom by themselves. There's the analysis one, which I'm probably most closely associated with. To a lesser extent, there's like the radio side of the fandom, you know, people like Silver Eagle and his minions. And then there's the news people, you know, and there's all the divisions within the news side, you know, Horse News and EFN and their beef and their feud going back forever. And I don't know if I even have a favorite part of the fandom. I'm not soured on any part of the fandom or the fandom as a whole. It's just, they all do such great work. I guess the fact that I'm most closely associated and tied with the analysis community, being a member of that community, they would probably be my favorite part of the fandom, but I even hesitate saying that because there's a lot of negative aspects of the analysis fandom, or analysis, I don't know what you'd call it, the analysis part of the fandom that can be distracting. So I can't really answer it, I'm sorry. Gunz Brony then asks, McDonald's or Burger King? Well, probably McDonald's. They're both pretty equal in my head, but I know the mayor friend leans towards McDonald's, so I'll go with McDonald's. He then asks, have you watched Breaking Bad? Hell yes, I've watched Breaking Bad. I was on that stuff from season 1. Was it? Season 1 was really short, if I remember. I think I did start watching it towards the end of season 1. And I've been watching it, I watched it all the way through to the finale. Yeah, that was an awesome show. I love the story they told there, and the way they weaved everything together was just, it was beautiful. And rewatching that again from the beginning, oh my goodness. It's still almost as good the second time. In fact, it might be better the second time around than it was the first time, because once you see how all the pieces of the story are going to fit together, you get to start over again, and you see that many of those pieces of the story were put in place early on. Maybe not deliberately. I don't know if they sat down and wrote the whole arc, but maybe inadvertently, but they're there, and you can go back and see them. This is why I don't mind being spoiled personally about things, because if I can be spoiled and someone tells me where a show is going to go, or where an episode is going to go, to me, the awesome part is seeing how it gets from point A to point B. I've always been about the journey more than the destination. That's just me. Gunz Brony then asks, do we need meth cooks in Equestria? I don't know about that. I mean, there are a lot of... The ponies don't seem like they need meth, especially when they got Pinkie Pie around. Okay, next commenter, Featherpoint, asks, are you a human or a pony or both? Well, Featherpoint, as you can see by my OC, I'm obviously a pony. Yeah. Okay, Steven Escareno says, woohoo, congrats Corpulent Brody. Okay, random questions. What are your thoughts on the upcoming My Little Pony film set to be released in 2017? Fuck yeah! I cannot wait for this movie, okay? I am so pumped to see a real pony movie and not any of this horse monster high crap. I'm very excited to see this movie. I hope that they don't mess it up. Oh man, I really hope they don't mess this up. I almost feel like I'm dooming myself by saying that. What do you hope will happen in that film? I don't know, man. I don't even know where to begin. You know, by the time that thing airs, we'll have gone through seasons 5 and 6, maybe even season 7. So who's to say what the heck's going to be in that thing? Who's to say where the show's even going to be when it comes out? Who knows? Heck, maybe it'll be when the CMC get their cutie marks. Hey? Okay. Steven Escareno finally asks, if you could change anything about MLP FIM, then what would it be and why? I'm glad you asked. I would get rid of all of the stupid appearances being made by this stupid yellow-colored Pegasus guard thing that people refer to as Flash Sentry. Okay, next question. Michael Lentz asks, are you a fan of the Star Wars franchise? If so, what's your favorite film and favorite character? Well, Michael, actually, I'm not a super avid fan of the Star Wars series. I have seen all the movies 1 through 6. Obviously, episodes 3 through 6 I've seen multiple, or 4 through 6. I've seen multiple times, being that when I was growing up and leading up to the release of Phantom Menace, I believe, episode 1. Those were real popular movies people watched a lot. And then Phantom Menace came out, which I was very disappointed with. Episode 2 was slightly better. Episode 3 was okay. My favorite, though, out of all of them, probably episode 6. I think I like that one a lot. Followed very closely by 1, though. I think, or not 1, 4. I think 4 and 6 were both very good. I hate the whole renumbering of them. They're still in my head as 1, 2, 3, you know. So yeah, 4 and 6, both really good. Michael then asks, Cabbage. Nah, not a big fan of Cabbage. I don't really like it. Rainbow Dirt. Okay, this person's awesome. I first really noticed them. I don't know if they were following me before. I noticed them when I used to live stream a lot of the Limbo podcasts on my Corpulent Brony live channel. By the way, do not go over there and subscribe, please. Oh my gosh, I don't do anything there, and when I do, it's usually stuff I don't really want people to see. Like live streams and stuff, so anyway. So she asks, if you were to meet somebody famous who you haven't met before, who would it be and what would you say to that person? I don't know. You know, if I'm looking within the Brony fandom, I would say maybe M.A. Larson. From what I see of him in writing and on Twitter, he seems like a pretty freaking interesting guy. And what I've heard from others who have sat down and been lucky enough to have a few drinks with him, he is pretty fun in real life. If we're talking just anybody and nobody in particular, and I assume they also have to be alive, otherwise I wouldn't be able to meet them. Okay, I'm probably gonna get a ton of hate for this answer from some people, from most people, mostly because this person's not really well understood, I think, and his public persona is very over the top, and he's got a very negative perception in the media, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. Most of you might not even know who he is. Don't look him up if you don't. His name is Rush Limbaugh. He's a talk show host, a political talk show host, who holds a lot of unpopular opinions, and a lot of his opinions have been, you know, he likes to take things, he talks a lot about demonstrating absurdity by being absurd. He often takes things to extremes, and people hear that, and they hear what they want to hear, which is him being evil, and they perpetuate that throughout the media. So the public perception of him, of what there is not very positive. I don't know if that's deserved or not. I haven't followed him as closely nowadays. He really broke into and created what today is sort of the AM or talk radio atmosphere we have. He got into radio shortly after the deregulation of talk radio. For a long time, up through the 80s and 90s, there had to be equal time given to every different political viewpoint on radio, in talk radio. So, you know, if you had an hour-long show with someone on the left, you had to have an hour-long show with someone on the right. You couldn't have a station dedicated to, like, right-wing politics or left-wing politics or even middle-ground politics. That didn't exist, which obviously is very contradictory to the freedom of speech. So Congress did eventually eliminate that. And he was one of the first talk show hosts to come on the air after that was eliminated. And he skyrocketed, you know, he became the most popular talk show host. As far as I know, he's still the most popular talk show host now, and it's been, oh man, this makes me feel old. It's been almost 30 years, I think. He's still the most popular out there. Maybe more than 30 years. Even more popular than Howard Stern, to be honest. Especially since he's only on Sirius nowadays. So yeah, when I was growing up, I listened to him a lot, and he had a big influence on my life. Growing up, for better or for worse, I didn't have really a father figure in my life for most of it, and he sort of sat in as a proxy for that father figure. Again, I hope nobody hears this and is like, oh my god, I'm subscribing to Corpulent Brony because he says he likes Rush Limbaugh, or he mentioned Rush Limbaugh in a positive light. You know, I can't defend anything he's done. He's had issues with drugs in the past. He's had issues with, I don't know, he said a lot of things that people take to be racist, but when you hear his explanations of them, or when you hear the original things in context, they don't sound racist to me. They don't sound sexist to me. You know, he makes jokes that I think a lot of my friends would laugh at, but a lot of people might think they're sexist or racist or something. I hope that's not the case, and I hope nobody thinks less of me for this. Again, I don't really listen to him much anymore, and but you know, when I was growing up, he did have a big impact on my life. Okay, next question. D Lego fan asks, they say, great milestone, this one you just achieved. My friend who isn't my friend nor know me nor care for me at all. Well, that's not true. I don't know you per se, but I do care for you. You know, I'd like to be everyone's friend, of course. They have one question for me. They want to know, am I secretly creating a personal army of bronies to take over the world and become a new religion that praises Twilight instead of Jesus? Well, wouldn't you like to know? Okay, next question. Shall Music FX. This guy is pretty awesome. You should check out you know, his content as well as everyone else's content. Oh gosh, now that I said that, I feel like I should have been promoting everyone up until this point. Okay, anyway, Shell Music FX, it was pretty cool. He says, hey Corpulent, congrats on 1K. You should be proud also, Dad Shaking Horse. Mando would be proud, I don't know about that. He says, a question. Okay, what is the hardest part of doing MLP analysis? For me, the hardest part of doing an MLP analysis is the video editing. And when I say that, I mean the whole putting the OC on the screen, making it move around, while also interspersing and trying to decide whether you're going to be using clips of the show, which can always put you in risk of being content ID'd or worse, copyright striked, or using images from the show, or just vector images that other people have drawn or other images that other people have drawn, how to show them on the screen, how to, transition stuff in, transition stuff out. I do a lot of just jump transitions because they're easy. What sort of poses to put my OC in? To be honest, I feel like there's a lack of dynamic poses for my OC, so sometimes there's a lot of stuff I want to do with it that I can't do. I've sort of been trying to look into getting a puppet or some way to make it better. I don't really know what I'm doing though. And whenever I do live action, having to loop in live action with the non-live action and get everything timed right, that can take a long time. The second least favorite thing is something you're familiar with: audio editing. For most of my analysis, I go through and intricately edit the audio. Yeah, that can take some time. I'm looking at this, I've already done an hour. I'm probably going to be doing very little audio editing here and very little video editing, so I hope you all forgive me if you're even still listening. He then asks, who is best princess? I did already answer this, although the question was slightly different before. This answer, though, is still Twilight Sparkle. Then he asks, if you could do a collab with another MLP analyst, who would it be? I don't really know. I've got a collab scheduled next season with A&Y, and probably we'll be doing one with Tiandega and other people. Who I would really like to do collabs with, there's actually maybe 2 or 3 people that I think would be awesome. That would be, I probably wouldn't have said this before having him on a podcast recently, but Silver Quill. Getting to know him, he's pretty freaking awesome. The other person would probably be I Love Kim Possible a lot. Well, no. Yeah, I Love Kim Possible a lot, I'll say. She's pretty cool, and she's a neat person. I think would be fun to work with her. Note, I do not say work for her, but work with her on a collab. I think that would be pretty fun. Another person, though, is Anthony C. Holy cow. I would give my left leg to do a collab with Anthony C. He is hilarious, and he's just an awesome man. I think he'd be my number one. Next questions we have are from Totally Louie. Okay, he says, I know Louis, just for everyone's edification. He says, will you notice me? Yes, Louis Senpai will notice you. He asks, are you still corpulent if you're not corpulent? I assume you're referring to, if I lose weight, would I still be called Corpulent Brony? I think I'd keep the moniker only because it's I guess come to represent me somewhat in the fandom. I feel like now, if I wanted to change it, it'd be a little too late to change it. He then asks, is the Twycock real? No, Louis. It is not real. Then asks, how many years can a pony live? I'm not really sure. I've never done the research into this. If I were to estimate, I'd say maybe 15. I don't really know. In the show, I think they can live pretty long. Who knows? They might all be immortal. Give me a little troll face. Okay. Last, why Twilight? Well, I've sort of already answered this. She's purple. There's more to it, but rewind if you want to hear more. Totally Louie then, proving that he had just lied, he comes back and asks another question. Also, can tacos be your favorite food? Please, senpai. Okay, I'm sorry to let you down, Louie, but tacos aren't my favorite food. I prefer pizza, and part of that is because I don't really like a lot of stuff they put in tacos. I don't like beef. I don't like sour cream. I don't like beans. There's so much. I don't like guacamole. I know I'm a horrible person. Sorry. Don't hate me. Okay, next question from Olive Hancock. This guy is pretty awesome. He's a YouTube poop person. He's done a couple videos about me, actually. So you should check out his channel. There I go promoting people, and now I feel like I gotta go back and promote everyone. Crap. He says, yo, Corp, I got a couple questions. What's your favorite restaurant, and what do you like to get there? It may seem a little strange, but for me, I really, really, really like going to Olive Garden. I know, it's like so overdone. It's not anything fancy or anything, but I like it. I like the atmosphere. It reminds me a lot of going there as a kid. I used to go there a lot. And their food's decent. It's not awesome. As far as favorite restaurant I've ever been to though, it might be a place called Le Cellier in Epcot here at Disney World. It's a restaurant in the Canada area, and it's called Le Cellier, and it's pretty oops, almost dropped something. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome in Le Cellier. You need to get a reservation to get there, and yeah, if you want a prime seating time, during lunch or dinner, you basically have to call a year ahead when they open reservations. So it's not an easy place to get into unless you're willing to eat at 2 p.m. or something, which I did the one time I've been there. But the food there is wonderful, and the atmosphere is wonderful. It is just an awesome, awesome place. So highly recommend it to anybody. Try to get in if you can. He then asks, oh, I didn't answer the Olive Garden. Okay, so at the Olive Garden, what I like to get there is, I don't know, I vary it up, you know. I really love their breadsticks, you know, and I like to get usually just something pasta related, so maybe just a pasta. If I'm feeling real peckish, maybe I'll have a chicken parmesan with, you know, the pasta or something like that. Usually I just vary it up. I like the marinara sauce though more than Alfredo. He then asks, what fandom content are you looking forward to the most? And are you hopeful there will be meaningful stuff related to actual canon themes? Smiley face. I don't really look forward to fandom content that much. Like I mentioned earlier, I used to listen and watch a lot of analysis. I don't really do that as much anymore now that I make my own videos, partly because I don't want other people's opinions to influence mine. Partly also because I don't really have time. Making videos along with going to school and working and trying to have a life with my, you know, with the mirror friend and everything can take a lot out of you. But obviously I do hope there will be more meaningful stuff related to actual canon themes. I'm really a big fan of things sticking more to canon than going off canon. I'm not really a big fanfic reader for that reason, but there's nothing I'm really looking forward to too much. I talk a lot with Minty Root, and he's working on Dinky's Destiny right now. That sounds pretty cool, and I've been lucky enough to see a couple preview animations out of the project, and it's looking really awesome. I think you guys are all I hope you all are gonna like it, you know, because I kind of like it so far. We'll have to see. Okay, last but not least is one of my wonderful Patreon followers and supporters named F. I don't know how to say this. I don't know if it's F. Sergeant CIIR or F. SGT CIIR. I feel so stupid. I don't know. But he asked some questions over on Patreon and not on YouTube, but that's okay. I thought I'd answer them anyway. They're the only questions I got over there. And I think it's only fair. Okay, they ask, aside presumably from Magical Mystery Cure, is there any particular episode you would wish fixed, as in like a fic? Not really, you know, I don't really, to me, once the episode has come and gone, the episode has come and gone, I mean, it's over. I don't really want to dwell in the past too much, and I try to do that in my own life as well, you know. Once you do something, you typically can't go back and change it, and you just sort of have to continue on with the way things are and not dwell in the past. If I could change anything though, seriously, and fix anything about the show, it probably wouldn't be an episode. It would probably be the whole Equestria Girls thing. I would totally get rid of it. Okay, next question from F.SGTCIR. Would you say you live to work or work to live? Really neither. You know, I don't live to work and I don't work to live. Obviously, I do work to live. I need to work in order to make money to support myself and my and everything else I have to support. I used to like my job more than I do now. My day job is not anything related to videos or making videos. There have been issues at my work in the past year or so that have sort of soured me there. F. then asks, have you ever had a dream, good or bad, which significantly affected your waking life for some extended period of time? Have you ever had a lucid dream? I can answer the last one pretty quick. I've never been lucky enough to have a lucid dream, unfortunately. I have had dreams that have affected me. The funny thing is I can't recall them at this moment. I'm sorry, I can't think of them right now. But yes, I have. F. then asks, would you do a critique of the ShipFic game? And what other card games would you recommend? Okay, I've done a video with the people on Pony Tonight where we sat down and played a game of Twilight Sparkle's secret ShipFic folder together online using a application called Vassal. It took forever. It was 3 hours long, which seemed really long. Part of it was getting to know Vassal and getting to know the game. None of us had ever played really, but it's an okay game. I played it once with a Mare friend. I do own a couple decks. As you saw, I have an extra deck I'm giving away here shortly, but I don't know if I'll do an analysis of it. I did see Tommy Oliver's. I don't usually watch his content, but I did see his review of it, and it was a pretty good review. I find it hard to top that. I don't really know if I should do a review of it, though. I don't really feel strongly about it. You know, for me, it's hard to review something I don't feel strongly about, either positively or negatively. It's an okay game. It's kind of generic, to be honest with you. If I were to critique it real quick here, I'd just say it's kind of generic. There's not a whole lot going on. You basically put ponies down on a grid and ship them together, and then you do ships in certain ways to complete goals and earn points, which is pretty darn easy. Think of it that way. He then asks, what other card games would I recommend? I played the My Little Pony collectible card game. It is kind of fun. Actually, that one, there's a lot more strategy involved. There's a lot more thinking involved. It's a lot steeper learning curve to get to know the game and play it well. And the collectible card game aspect means you could end up spending a ton of money on nice decks to get just the fit you want. But I like it a lot. You know, the few times I've been lucky enough to play it, I've had a lot of fun. So I'd recommend that. Outside of that, back in the day when I was younger, I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I don't really anymore. Other than that, I can't really recommend anything outside of Blackjack. You know, I love playing Blackjack at the casino. Like F. then asks, what did you think of your grade school and high school experience? Okay, grade school sucked. Middle school or junior high school sucked the most. In high school, things finally started to get okay, and I started to become comfortable. I have been corpulent all my life, which means I've dealt with bullying and hate and all that crap all my life. And it wasn't until high school that I realized the things bullies say to me don't mean a thing. And in most cases, the people I thought were bullying me all along were probably just trying to be friendly and treat me like a bro. And I had a hard time recognizing that and accepting that for most of my life when I was a kid. It wasn't until high school that I learned to just relax and take what they said in stride. And when I did, I found these people aren't that bad. They're just messing around with me. They're actually doing it because they kind of think I'm cool. And when I realized that, I was like, wow, I just wasted all my school time thinking I was being, you know, so held down and everything when it was all in my head. And I don't know how to tell kids this. You know, I mention it to people online sometimes who come to me with problems, but it's hard when you're in that other mindset. It's hard to switch your mindset. You can't make someone do it, which is unfortunate. F. then asks, what do you enjoy wasting time on in an everyday setting? Okay, so I used to love sitting down and watching TV. I don't get to do that as much anymore. It used to be watching TV. Nowadays, it's probably just trying not to think too hard about stuff. I spend so much of my time thinking and working on things and doing stuff. It just gets very tiring. It's hard, you know, and he then asks sort of a follow-on, what sort of things do you enjoy being productive on? Besides pony stuff, I don't know. I mean, really it's just pony that I enjoy being productive on. That's it. There's nothing right now in my life that I really enjoy being productive on. F. then asks, do you enjoy singing all the time, or do you just do it for the videos? I don't think I sing that much in my videos, do I? I like singing. Obviously, I don't do it professionally. I just like doing it for fun, and I started putting some of that in my videos knowing I sound horrible. Not necessarily because I sound awesome, but I was sort of doing it for the lulz. I think most times, though, most people don't like it, so I kind of started to reduce that. F. then asks, have you played Equestria Online or Pony VRville? You asked about Equestria Online. I'm wondering if you mean Legends of Equestria. I think it used to be called Equestria Online. Maybe it's something else, but I have played Legends of Equestria. I love that game, and there's an open server weekend on April 10th to 12th, I think, coming up. I'm really looking forward to. If you run around in that game, you'll probably find me there. I've even spent time in Lemoncest's server. By the way, I know I've also played Pony VRville. I know the guy who made it, My Little Ties, and he will be a guest on the podcast, I think, coming up relatively soon. I think he's scheduled on the Pony Tonight podcast. So I'm looking forward to speaking with him, but he's given me a copy of the game and I played it. It's pretty cool. I like where he's going with that. I wish it was more of a MMO like Legends of Equestria. I've also played the demo version of Horse Game. It was kind of okay. I don't know. I'm not very good at that sort of game, so I didn't do very well. F. then asks, are there particular seasons of weather you enjoy more than others? I love fall, the traditional northern fall. That's always been my favorite season. You don't really get that down here in Florida. Here in Florida, I enjoy the winter time the most. The weather down here is usually awesome. It's dry. Temperatures are pretty decent and mild. I don't like it when it gets too cold though, which it sometimes does. Finally, F. asks, is this a lot of questions? I actually wrote all these questions down, not just the ones from F. but from everyone here. And I came up on a total of 77 questions. So yeah, it was sort of a lot of questions, and I hope you guys have been able to make it through this video. I've decided I'm going to time code everything, so you'll be able to skip to whatever you want to watch. That should make it easier for all you guys who just want to see your questions being answered. I don't know, maybe some of you are going to listen through it all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this portion of the video here, and I'll start up again doing the drawing. So we'll see who wins the Twilight Sparkle Secret Ship Fit game deck, and also we'll see who wins the Rainbow Rocks Blu-ray pack thing. Okay, let's go ahead and perform the drawing here. See who wins those wonderful prizes. So, the first thing I did was I took all of the questions I got and put them all into a list. And as I said, I do have 77 questions I received. So that's freaking awesome, dude. I think you're all pretty awesome for that. I then took that entire list of questions and distilled down the individual commenters who actually left a comment so that I'm not giving you extra entries if you asked more than one question. I'm pretty sure, yes, for sure that in the rules I posted, it just says you have to post one question to enter, and there are no multiple entries, obviously. So I went ahead and put down a list of all the individual people who answered questions on this list, and I then just went ahead and gave you a number next to your name. The numbers run from 1 to 24 because there were 24 of you who asked me those 77 questions. Now, to figure out the drawing, I'm going to go ahead and go to random.org. This is a wonderful random number generating site, and I'm just going to say I want to generate a number somewhere between 1 and 24. So that is everybody on that list. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate. It's going to give me a random integer, and the person on the list who matches that integer will be offered the first prize, which I guess will be the Twilight Sparkle Secret Shipfic folder deck. So let's go ahead and hit generate. 1. Okay, that's Friendship is Magic. Pick first. I'm going to go ahead and pick the next one. This will be the winner of the My Little Pony Blu-ray DVD combo pack. So let's see what we get. 17. Who's 17? Oh, good job. Steven Escareno. I'm going to do 4 more drawings of names just in case anybody can't accept the prize or doesn't want the prize. I want to go ahead and have some backup people, and I want to do that here on the video too so you can all see it's above board. Okay, so let's go ahead and generate another number. 19. Okay, this is Rainbow Dirt. That means that if either Friendship is Magic or Steven Escareno decide they can't accept the prize, I'm going to be coming to you next. I don't know which one it is. If anything, it might be nothing. I'm going to go ahead and generate another number. We got 12. That's the Burning Donut. Do another one. Okay. Burning Donut again, but obviously he can't win twice, so 4. Logan Thene. And I'm going to go ahead and draw one more number. This should cover me for everyone. Nelson Demifur. Okay. I'm sure out of this list of people, I'll get at least 2 takers on the prize. If not, then I promise I'll follow this exact same procedure to pick the next person on the list. I really want to thank all you guys for being such awesome supporters of me, for listening to this video, for asking questions, and for subscribing and watching my videos. I'm always interested to hear what you guys think. If you have any questions or comments you want to leave me, or if there are any questions that maybe you forgot to ask, go ahead and leave them in the comments section below here. Thank you so much again. See you later, every brony. Keterum autumn cancel flash sentry as